We had a prophetic Bitcoin prediction play out recently from a renowned trader that's getting a lot of buzz in the crypto space. And this guy, back in November, he predicted that at 314, that Pi Day, March 14th, Bitcoin would close at $84,000. And on the Binance exchange, Bitcoin closed at exactly $84,000 on the 14th, which is pretty crazy. And a lot of other exchanges too were very close to this $84,000 mark. Coinbase, I think, was about 83,980. And so what's amazing about this prophecy too is that not only did he predict this price, but what it means for the Bitcoin price going forward. I'll get to that. It's very bullish, based on another prophecy that he mentioned along with this. If Bitcoin hits this 84,000 price, which it did on that day, or at least it was very close to it. So I'll explain his crazy price target, that he's also another prophecy tied to this that we could hit this year. And I'll also show some charts that back up that maybe we're not going to get as high as this crazy prediction, but we are going to have a really good bull run here up above 100,000, up towards 120, 150, and even potentially even more. So I'll give you some charts that are showing that bullish future for Bitcoin this year. So if that sounds good to you guys, hit the like, hit subscribe. You can also join me on Twitter at @SethToshi, and click the links in the description. So I talked about the Sonic airdrop, which is coming in June. I have a link to that where you can sign up with my referral link and start earning points for that airdrop, which could potentially be a huge airdrop. And then also check out my other links. I have one for a ledger device, which is a way to keep your crypto wallet safe if you're doing DeFi and stuff like that. And then Bitmart and Kraken. So you can check those out too. So let's get into this prediction here. And this comes from Josh Mandel, who's an experienced trader. And this isn't just some random guy. This is a guy who took $2 million last year, and in about 5 or 6 months, he turned it into 20 million. And he did this through investing in options on MicroStrategy and Bitcoin. So he's been in the trading space for a long time, had a lot of accurate predictions in the past. And so on November, he did this cryptic thing, kind of a prophecy message. And he said he kind of remembered this from years back, that kind of came into his conscious and sort of said this to him about the Bitcoin price. So just reading this here, it says, when 84 becomes the base, Bitcoin calls will melt their face. This is how you get ahead. Buy IBIT calls in size instead. 10 to 1, you'll write it up. The stock soars into the skies. Then sell the call and exercise. See the path of Pistol Pete. Try a slug and then repeat. Look every day at close and lows. When B4 is on the dot, the car will launch. A real hole shot. Feel the G's. Hear the roar. The coin won't stop. 360 more. A trio of fours. Times a grand. That's the top. So that's the prediction there, is that 84 will become the base, and this 444 times 1,000, that's the price prediction of $444,000. So he said if Bitcoin has this base at 84,000, closes at 84,000 exactly, that we would have an epic run here up to 444,000 this year. And we did hit that 84,000 mark. Now, he didn't confirm anything about this, that like, yes, we did hit 84, we're good to go. Now we went up to 444K, right? And he also mentioned that like nobody can predict the future, obviously, right? But that's pretty amazing that he predicted 84,000 on the dot. But one thing that he did say is that because we closed close to 84, and he did say if we got too far above 84, that would actually be bearish for the price and we could have another crash down. But he said anything close to 84, and he sees that the price could go up to 100,000 by the end of March. And this actually aligns with some broader macro things we're seeing, like the Fed Chairman Powell came out to say and said that we're easing quantitative tightening, so we're not going to be doing quantitative tightening anymore, and we're going into the quantitative easing stage, which every time we go into quantitative easing, we've seen Bitcoin take off. So that's another bullish thing. Even though the rates didn't come down, we still have an estimated 3 rate cuts coming in this year. And then just a couple of charts here. So here's the Bitcoin power law. I mentioned this before in previous videos, but this shows you where the price is at and the trend line in the middle, as well as standard deviations. And right now we're right in the middle of that trend line. But as you can see, historically, we've had this go up to either past the second standard deviation or just short of it recently. And we can see that it's gone past the standard deviation and had diminishing returns to where last cycle it didn't quite hit that second standard deviation, but it's well above the first deviation. So looking at this right now, the first standard deviation for Bitcoin would be 170,000. So even if we got up to that would be amazing, right? That'd be a 2x from here, just one standard deviation. But if we got up to 2 standard deviations, that would be well over 300,000. So that would align with this prophecy as well, or be fairly close to it. Now, another thing here is the chart here is the stock to flow chart. And this is a chart that shows Bitcoin halvings and how it moves up. And with this recent halving, this is showing a Bitcoin price of around 500,000 this cycle, so this year. And it could be anywhere from 250 to 750 according to this, but the average is 500,000. So this aligns as well with this prophecy of Bitcoin going to 444,000. Another bullish chart here is this golden cross chart, which we just had a golden cross. And you can see every time we had a golden cross, the Bitcoin price went up. The lowest increase was 140%. So even if we have just a modest increase like we did back in 2016, that 140% gets us up to, around that 200,000 or more mark, right? But if we see more explosive run like we saw with the other 2 golden crosses on that time frame, then we could see it go even higher, up to potentially that $400,000 mark, right? And we had the stochastic RSI cross, which is bullish for Bitcoin as well. And this has averaged about a 56% gain when this flash signal flashes. And again, that would put Bitcoin over 120,000 here fairly soon. And then the last chart here is the Bitcoin dominance chart. You can see that according to this chart, we're heading towards the peak of Bitcoin dominance. And once Bitcoin dominance falls, then altcoin season takes off. And so you're going to see a lot of altcoins outperform Bitcoin during this time. And of course, none of this is financial advice. Nobody really knows where the Bitcoin price is heading, especially in the short term. But one thing this trader, 𝗗𝗶𝘀𝗰𝗹, one thing he did say is that if we see Bitcoin go off with a bunch of green candles, that's a sign that this prophecy is in play, right? So if we get a bunch of green candles into the end of the month, 100,000, then that's looking more promising for something like this to play out, where we have that Bitcoin super cycle and we all get rich. Of course, Bitcoin could always go down from here, so don't ape all your life savings in. But I think right now, with fear and greed down, this is a good time to dollar cost average in and just put money into Bitcoin every week or however often you want to do it, because it looks like there's a lot of positive macro stuff coming up. So I just wanted to share that prophecy with you guys. Pretty interesting that he nailed that and give you some other information there. Again, make sure to like the video if you found it helpful, and good luck with your March Madness brackets. And let me know in the comments who you're picking. I'm going with Florida. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.